right in the kisser.
How the devil are you? Why are you order? Right in the kisser. Oh, look. You see, this is why I don't do it. For goodness sake. Now, people keep asking me why I don't do the punches anymore at the beginning of my videos. Well, you know, I stopped doing it. One, because, you know, I got dodgy shoulders, so I don't throw the punches anymore. And I thought, you know what? I'll bring it back for old times, like just this one time. And look what happens. So I'm blaming you guys. It's all your fault for asking in the comment section. Why are you order? Right, that's better. Okay, no more punches, no. So a few months ago, maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago, a company called, and I think they're called Eytse, they're spelled E-Y-T-S with a backwards E. I think it's Eytse or Eytse. I'm going to stick with Eytse, I'm not sure. And they sent me an amplifier, P60, and they said, this is a prototype, we're not going to release it yet, we just like your feedback, which I gave them a feedback, and they were happy with it and said I could keep the amp. So there you go. But they've now released it. So I thought I'd do a review and tell you what I told them and the same feedback to you guys. So anyway, let's bring you in for a closer look. And here it is. Now I think they've taken some of this design or the looks of it from the Duke Audio DAC Q11, because that has a glass roof on it as well, so you can see into the unit. Although with the Q11 you can take the lid off, you can't remove the lid on this. Now at the front then we've got, you've got off, then it's RCA and then Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth 5.3 and it's great Bluetooth. It's got a really good distance on it. I walked around the house with my phone and it never dropped out at all. It's got bass and treble, I think it's plus or minus 10 dB. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that there's no detent in the center. I'm assuming that center point is the neutral position, and that's minus and that's plus, okay. But a little detent in the center would have been good. I did feed that back to them. Then you got the volume then. The volume is notched, so it kind of, you can see a little notch. I don't know if you can see it on camera there. But there we are. Now, what's cool about it as well, same as the DAC Q11, when you flip it on, boink, it lights up inside. That is pretty cool looking. It's a nice little design, that. Although I did feed back to them, but some people may, let me just turn the light down a little bit so you can see it better. Is that better? Yeah, maybe. That some people may want to turn that light off or dim it. To be fair, it's not that bright, but I think, you know, maybe if you could turn the little switch on the side to turn it off if you wanted a dark room completely. But like I said, it's not that bright. Okay, let's have a little look around the back. Okay, let's turn my light back up again. There you go, that's better. So you've got the Bluetooth aerial, RCA in, and speaker binding posts. Nothing special to see. It's just these are your only inputs here. Now you could argue, oh, it would have been nice to have a subwoofer out, but to be fair, excuse me. To be fair, yeah, you can have a subwoofer out and you can complain there's no subwoofer. But if you wanted to use this with a subwoofer, you could get a subwoofer with a speaker level input and connect it from the back here. Use your bookshelf speakers in here with banana plugs and then use bare wire on the back or spades and plug the subwoofer into these and connect it via speaker level inputs. It would work fine. And there's your DC input there. Now, it comes with a 32 volt 5 amp. And obviously on the advert it says 300 by 300. I think that's only if you have a 48 volt 5 amp and that is into 4 ohms. So you're probably going to get something like, I think it's around 80 watts into 8 ohms and 160 watts into 4 ohms, which is plenty of power. It goes loud enough for me with the 32 volt 5 amp power supply. Now, I can't knock them for that because they all do it. They all put the maximum power you can get out of it, even though the unit you get doesn't supply that power unless you got it into 4-ohm speakers and you've got a 48.45 amp power supply. So I'm not going to knock them for that because they all do it. Now, this has a TPA 3255 amp chip, which a lot of them do now. A lot of them around this price range have it. It's a decent amp chip. You've got swappable NE5532 op amps. It's got a nice aluminium body with vented side panels. Actually, when you've seen it turn around, so it's got almost like a heatsink on the side. It's a pretty nice looking and well built unit, especially for the price, I think. A review on Amazon US. The reviewer said that it gets warm, especially with the 48 volt power supply. I mean, I tried it with a 48 volt and a 32. I didn't feel it got warm at all. So I don't know what happened there. Not sure. How does it sound? It's as good as any Fozzy IEMA Duke equivalent. It's as good as any of them. And you're also getting PFFB, post-filter feedback technology. And this is going to retail for around about $139, I think it is, US, and about 110, 120 pounds in the UK, I think. So we're getting a bargain in the UK. So to get this level of build quality, components and PFFB for 140 bucks, I think is pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable indeed. Now, what is PFFB? Well, let's ask Grumpy Audiophile.
In audio amplifiers, particularly Class D designs, post-filter feedback, PFFB, refers to a secondary feedback loop that takes an audio signal after the output filter and sends it back to the amplifier's input for correction. This process helps reduce errors and improve performance, especially with regards to output impedance and damping factor. Also, the idiot told me to ask you to like and subscribe, so go ahead if you want, or not, whatever. Right, sod off, Murder She Wrote is about to start.
Thank you, Grumpy Audiophile. He knows a lot, but he is a bit grumpy. He is. Bit of a sourpuss. Anyway, right. So I've tested it against some other amps I've got. I tested it against the Meta DX and the Leak Stereo 230. Against the Leak Stereo 230, it had a little bit more headroom in it. And I think the Leak Stereo 230 was a bit better. Against the Meta DX, it's very close indeed. Now, I predominantly used two sets of speakers, the Wharfdale Diamond 12.2s and these here, the Dali Spectre 2s. Too many twos in there. Two, bless you. Now, I think it worked better with the Dali Spectre 2s than the Wharfdales because it's quite a warm sounding amp. Now, the Wharfdale 12.2s tend to be a bit laid back and the Spectre 2s tend to be a little bit brighter. And I think it worked better with the Dalis. Because especially around the lower mid, upper bass range, it gets a bit warm there. So, and I don't mean to touch, okay, in the sound range. Now, look, this is not breaking any new ground, okay, but you're getting a very well-built, well-designed, cool-looking amp with some very decent components, PFFB, and I think it's very reasonably priced. So all in all, I think it does get the UTV stamp of approval. I forgot to mention, it also comes with this lead here. So it's a RCA, two RCA left and right, to a 3.5mm. Can you see that there? Okay. So potentially, you can just get this, plug this into your headphone socket of your PC, plug it in there, get some passive speakers, and you're up and running. Is it going to be the best way to connect it to your PC? No, of course not, okay? I'd always suggest getting a DAC, and then you would get more inputs, maybe a DAC / preamp, okay? And you're going to get probably a better sounding system with that than you are connecting this directly into the PC, because PC DAC boards and motherboards, whatever, they're not the greatest sounding, okay? But to get you off the ground, bam, just buy this amp, a couple of passive speakers, get a couple off eBay, plop that in, and there you go. And it's going to massively improve the sound of your PC or laptop. So that is an option to get you started. Anyway, I have done a sound test comparing it to the Marantz Melody X. I'll put it at the end of this video. And I think that's come to the end of the video now. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll catch you in the next one.